Well, I have a paint shop that I can take my car to for half the price you quoted me.
Whatever that movie is.
And welcome back for another episode of How to Wrap. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about tools. Now, the tools I'm going to be talking about are going to be prep tools, install tools, so during the install of vinyl wrapping, and post, meaning after. As far as prep work goes, I use some kind of alcohol, whether it be this, you can use isopropyl, just keep it around a 50-50 mixture. Before I even do alcohol, I actually use Dawn soap. It just kind of strips all the wax, any contaminants off, and it's really useful. I would stick with a 50-50 mixture in your spray bottles with the alcohol. And when I say mixture, I mean you just fill up halfway with your alcohol of choice and then the other half with water and shake it up. You can actually buy the isopropyl already kind of watered down. Just don't go above, I think someone's mentioned 80% or something like that before. I just stick to a 50-50, makes it easier. Now, this is also an install tool, but it's also a prep tool. Everything I talk about in this video, I will link down below as far as tools go. So if you want the full setup, you can just go get it. So after you're done wiping down your car with alcohol, the next thing I recommend highly, and it's kind of mandatory for me, is get a tucking tool like this. It's skinny. If you guys can see that, it's pretty skinny. And I actually put a rag behind it with some alcohol on it, and I'll go between all the gaskets and clean them off like that. So this gets a little more advanced, but I'm just gonna say it, get some kind of, you don't have to do this, you can just get a ratchet set. I always have a drill. Just removing everything is so much quicker, so much easier. Now, as far as power tools go, I have, it's called an eraser wheel on this, and it is super handy as far as getting any gunk off. So if you take a decal or an emblem off and you're just struggling with it, this is a great tool to have, and it's just the wheel itself is insanely cheap. The only thing I will say is keep it under, like always keep touching it to make sure you're not getting over temperature. A lot of the time when you remove a door handle, you're going to have to pull off the interior panel of the door, and that means using these guys. They're plastic, kind of flexible tools, and you can just look them up. They're interior tools. I believe these are actually from Harbor Freight. It makes removing stuff really easy with these super aggressive curves on them, and you're not gonna scratch the paint. That's the big one. As far as chemicals go, I have Wrap Attack, which is kind of a prep. I also have a tack reducer, which is really nice for very tacky vinyls, such as 3M or especially Vivid, when you're doing any kind of horizontal surfaces in the heat. Like right now, it's actually probably a good, I don't know, 80, 85 in here with 60% humidity. So in that case, if it's a hood or a roof or a trunk, I'm probably gonna use a little bit of that tack reducer. And last but not least, you need a measuring tape. Don't use this because it has a metal one. I know it's terrible for me to use this in the video, but it's all I could find right now. But get yourself they make kind of soft or like clothish material measuring tapes. Yeah. I think that's it for prep. Moving on to install tools. Let's talk heat guns. This is a Porter cable. It's fairly cheap on Amazon, and I think I throw this thing around. I mean, drop it all over the place. It's pretty scuffed up. It's been nothing but amazing to me. You have kind of a temperature dial here. You'll mess with that once you get used to different brands. But most of the time I keep it maxed out just because that's the way I do it, and I know where my limit is for this. But you can always dial it down a bit. Now we come to the propane torch. A lot of people steer away from these, and that's fine. As a beginner, I would not recommend it whatsoever. But once you get kind of intermediate to advanced, this is one of my favorite as long as I'm using a gloss vinyl. I do not use this with matte or satin, as there's a chance that it's gonna gloss it over. Talking about tucking tools again, is you have all kinds of different ones you can go with, whatever your preference is, whatever works best for you. I will link pretty much everything I've ever bought down below. The bread and butter of vinyl wrapping knives. Here I actually have 2 different degree knives, if you can see that. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. And then you go like that. Wow! As far as the 30-degree knife, it's just nice to have when I'm trying to get into these little tiny spaces. But I actually end up using these. I think these are like, what, 40 degree or something like that, 45 degree. Just from my experience, they seem to dull less quickly. I also use a Japanese made blade that is amazing and extremely sharp, but you have to be super careful with it. I mean, no, I don't use it when I go to cut on paint. When I say cut on paint, I mean the vinyl is laid and I'm running my blade across it. I'm not cutting through the vinyl, I'm scoring it. For that, I'll use Foshiel blades, these 30 degree ones. They're a little more dull, but I can literally just drop my blade on it and score it and then peel it back. You'll get used to what blade kind of ends up being your preference. For most of the time, it's gonna be this blade. Prop, that's what it is. See, I knew I'd get to that. It's also really nice what I'll do with like trunks, when I'm doing trunks, because I don't want them to fully close. I want that gap between the body lines, is I'll actually just set it in the trunk and then close the trunk on it. And this is all rubber, like this isn't gonna damage it. Magnets, you need them. You're gonna drop stuff. I drop stuff all the time. You don't have to buy Snap-on. I actually got it for free. I didn't pay $50 for this, so. Plus wrapping gloves. These are actually some of my favorite, is Vivid's. Vivid actually makes a pretty good glove. I do go through about one pair per car, but they're super soft. They almost don't scratch at all. And they're really not that expensive to go through. Magnets, as far as you're gonna anchor one side, especially if you're by yourself, you're gonna anchor one side with magnets and do the other side yourself. You have to have magnets. These ones are by Foshiel, if that's even how you pronounce it right. And they have velvet on them, or fuzzy stuff and soft. Doesn't scratch. The all-powerful, the all-knowing Knifeless Tape. Buy a roll, I know it is pricey, trust me. I buy a lot of these rolls. They will save you hours. It makes everything look cleaner. This is one of the best tools you could possibly ever buy. Along with edge sealer tape. This is kind of a pain in the butt to use. You generally want to kind of start it with rubbing your fingers together, like 2 pieces of tape on each side, you split it. I post heat everything, including my corners especially, and I stretch my corners so that they suck up underneath the actual body panel, but just for double protection, I always use edge sealer on most of my corners. Why chance a failure when you know you're for sure good? So these tips I have on here are monkey grips. They are pretty much the only felt tip I use, and they are amazing. This one, if you can see it, I don't know if it's focusing, that metal piece in there is actually magnetic. So I can go over here and stick it onto there, or a car. Really handy. They come in different, I guess you'd say, resistances. Like this is a 3M gold. It's actually one of my favorites next to the magnetics, but it's a lot flimsier and it's a lot easier to kind of get a curve on it when you're doing things like slicing, or just if you're doing kind of curvatures like quarter panels. These are really great. I'm gonna tell you my 2 secret tools. And they're not really secrets. It's just a lot of people don't think about them when they first start vinyl wrapping. And I've even told a couple of who I would consider almost professional vinyl wrapping people, and they didn't even know about it. Number 1, best secret tool, period. This guy. So you're like, I mean, that's a toothbrush. No, I don't use this. You can cut this off if you want. But this little rubber piece here is super flexible, and it comes to a point, and it is perfect for things like that you can't really get into, like hinges, really sharp corners. The only thing is it is rubber, so you have to be a little more careful when you're heating that you're not gonna accidentally pull the vinyl and stretch it as you're doing that. Yeah, there you go. You can thank me later. It's not where I wanted that to go. This is my final secret tool. No, not the vinyl, the backing. You're probably looking at me like right now, how is that a secret tool? Let me show you. So what you do, I can't believe a lot of people don't think about this, and I didn't for the longest time, so that's why I'm telling you. Guess what? Vinyl doesn't stick to backing. That's what you pulled it off of, right? So what I will do is I'll fold up my handy dandy backing, especially for really tight gaskets. You might only be able to fold this like 1 time. And you actually put this into the gasket with your vinyl flopped up and your gasket on this side, and you're just gonna go like this and tuck along. I know, right? Now for the super tight gaskets, the most annoying ones of them all. So for the hardest ones, what I'll actually do, and this will poke through, but that's fine because it's gonna get held up usually right here. Fold it a few times if you need to, is I kind of fold it, if I can do it, fold it like a taco over there, and then fold this down at an angle. And so even if this punctures through it, I can't even get it to do it right now. And you stick this into the gasket. And then, so you have the vinyl over here on this side, the gasket on the opposite side, and you're just gonna sit here. I'm not gonna be holding it because this will be pinched by the gasket. And you're actually gonna be pushing this along while just tucking. Go figure that. This is probably like literally the best technique in the world. Someone's gonna be like, no, it's not. I know a better one. God, I don't care. This is my favorite. God. I tried to make this as short as possible. I am sweating balls here. The next episode is actually gonna be the initial laying of vinyl. I'm not gonna talk about techniques like stretching or anything crazy like that. I'm just gonna straight up a flat-ish surface laying vinyl in, and what to look for and what to kind of guess. I won't also be talking about wrinkles in that episode either. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I'm gonna continue on. We're looking at like 10 episodes at this point. So once you've seen all these videos, I hope that you can go out there and confidently wrap. And even if you mess up, you know where you messed up and how you can avoid that next time, hopefully. It's hot. I gotta go. You guys have been amazing if you sat through this. I don't know how you did it. I'm titty sweat here. So please like and subscribe down below. See you next time.
1, 2, 3, funk it.
It makes your Why am I forgetting what? Once you get to the advanced levels of rapping, you can get yourself a little fancy purse. We'll get there eventually. Maybe.
The camera on me.